Once you hit RC15, your Frieren's going to be doing so much damage thanks to the Rift devices that you can just run her on her PvP build. And this is really, really nice because it doesn't really matter what your PvP build is, as long as you're running a DPS Frieren and not like a weird debuff or stun one, then you should be able to solo Rift no problem. Depending on your build though, you might need a little bit of extra help, which we'll talk about, but this is just going to be how to set up the Frieren solo and how to do it pretty fast. With your devices, we're going to pick up at RC15, the one that makes it so every single time you AoE once per turn, you will remove a tentacle. This means that you will be able to deal more damage because the tentacles reduce crit damage taken. And then at RC21, this speeds it up a ton. You lose 10 counterforce, which doesn't matter because you have permanent death break on the enemy as long as you have exactly 3 different classes during or in your team comp. Or the devices at RC2 is the mage one. And then this one doesn't really do that much because the problem is Venom reduces your max HP, so it has to be 40% of whatever leftover HP you have that isn't injured. But it does have uses because you can tank Venom damage, get below 40% of your remaining HP, so I guess like 20% of her total HP. And then if the boss hits your barrier, it'll proc. So this can be useful as like a one-time cleanse in case your Frieren isn't lined up very nicely for her tuning, but odds are you won't need this because you'll be doing enough damage. So let's talk about the general setup again. We have Frieren, and the boss starts off with this S2, which inflicts Venom, or 2 Venoms, and Unbuffable, which is very annoying. So if you're Immunity Frieren, some people are going Immunity Frieren these days on your PvP build, then you're good to go, pretty much. At RC21, you just have to put in some units to meet the classes, and you'll pretty much be fine. For meeting the classes, you just need to make sure that you have 1 duplicate element, or you could just drop a unit, but there's no reason to really do that. You might as well put 4 units in. Just make sure you have 1 duplicate class, and you will be fine. Now, if you're not Immunity Frieren, then there are a couple of ways to go about this. Let's say you're Torrent Frieren, get a level 5 Christie or level 5 Clary, or you could just run an actual knight and just ungear them. But the main thing is you want to give them Bastion of Perlucia. This way the ally in the back slot gets immunity for 1 turn at the start of combat, which will be enough for them to, or for Frieren to start getting her immunity buff up from her S1. And then the other way of doing it is you can just use an actual Christie, because Christie transfers all of her F-res to the back line, and as long as you have 220 F-res, because I'm pretty sure the boss has 120 effectiveness, then you will be able to resist all of its debuffs, and that will also work out fine. So let's take a look at some Frieren builds. So this is an example of just Immunity Frieren for PvP. If you have her set up like this, then you're fine. You don't need to worry about Bastion or Christie or anything. This will be fine for you to use. Alternatively, if you're Torrent Frieren, it looks something a bit more like this, and there's not really much different to say about it. It's just still a full DPS PvP Frieren. Well, we're gonna kill with so many turns left over that I've seen people wondering about like if I'm super slow or if I'm super fast. It shouldn't matter. You have so many turns left, it's not going to be much of a problem. So since I'm on Torrent, I'm gonna work with the level 5 Christie on Bastion, and let's go ahead and take a look.
ゾルトラーク、ボルザンベ、なかなかやるね。じゃあ応用といこうか。ふっ、これでどう？行くよ。ここで終わらせるよ。
So we cleared with 9 turns remaining, so it's 11 turn kill. It's like about a minute 10-ish. Slightly slower than the Wukong clear, so that is the Wukong clear using the really weird Christie build. With a standard Christie build, it's like slightly faster than the Wukong clear. So this is more or less the fastest clear if you're not like really regearing anything, which is super, super nice. Let's also take a look at some of the other clears with Frieren, because you could also do it on like the immunity set, which I'm just going to regear real quick. On my Destro gear, we're going to swap this. Let's just do it like this. Those all my Celine pieces, and then immunity set, we just need attack and crit damage. This is way too much. Oh, I have to change the chest too. So it is something like this. And then, in this case, you don't need to use Christie or anything. You can just toss in, like, a different unit. And again, make sure you're respecting the 3 classes. I'm just going to give her a... I don't think mine is Friendship 10, so we'll just give her this real quick. And let's go check it out. Pretty much immunity buff will block the debuffs at the very start. You'll just end up doing a little bit less damage. So this was like 1 turn slower, like one turn a few seconds slower. Still relatively fast though, like slower than the previous Rift, but it's what we got for this one. So regardless of what your PvP Frieren build is, you're going to be able to clear. That's like, we have so many turns left over, I don't think it really matters even if you have like considerably less DPS stats. But that is it for the Frieren solo at RC21, and when you're friendship farming, just make sure you have 3 distinct classes in your team.